Let's get the spoken word on the global markets now for the new year with John Blank, our chief equity strategist here at Zacks, who joins me remotely via Skype. John, what are you seeing for the 2014 year, at least for the beginning of it, as far as the global stock markets are concerned? Robust risk-on rally or lackluster?
Somewhere between lackluster and risk-on, Terry. I think we're going to hit a soft patch for a little bit and then recover and then hit a soft patch for a little bit. My view is we've got some worry in the taper fear that's going to have to play out, and I think the market's just going to watch and see. So that causes me to think we're going to have a few soft patches. But by and large, the reason we're having the taper is because we're having some stronger growth in the U.S. economy, and that means the stock market has a bull market basis. So overall, I'm bullish, but I think there's going to be periods where this fear is going to play a role.
So is that what the global markets are going to be taking their cue from, largely the U.S.?
I think so, Terry. I think you see, particularly in the emerging markets, a very strong emphasis on the taper fear. It is not a market that's pricing on GDP growth right now. It's on the amount of fear that's coming out of the amount of interest that people think. So fear is a hard thing to price, and therefore I think we're going to see some weakness now and again, and that includes the global markets.
Any triggers in your view for negative returns?
I don't think negative returns, Terry, but I think there's going to be periods where the worry overwhelms the market. And so it's going to be opening opportunities, and it's going to cause some rotation amongst stocks and sectors. But overall, what I see from the industry's Zacks ranks is very strong emphasis on cyclical and growth stocks within the U.S., and I've got to believe that holds up in the international space too.
You briefly mentioned the emerging markets a moment ago. What do you see happening with those emerging markets? Coming back, maybe?
Terry, I think it's looking a little grim in the emerging markets from an investor perspective. There is just too much cynicism and fear right now. I would stay away from developing countries, broadly speaking. I think infrastructure plays in Brazil are good. I like Mexico. But outside of that, I think, unless you're hooked to the United States like Mexico, and unless you got a secular story like the Brazilian infrastructure and the World Cup and the Olympics, I think you've got to be worried that, broadly speaking, people are staying in advanced countries and they're staying away from developing countries.
That's the spoken word on the global markets up to this point with John Blank. I'm Terry Ruffalo.